Well, the U.S. economy is slamming on the brakes. The question is this just a brief slowdown or something maybe more permanent? According to the government figures released yesterday, the economy barely grew in the first quarter of the year, and that's the slowest pace since the end of 2012. So it certainly gathered some attention. Doug Holtz-Eakin is former director of the Congressional Budget Office and president of American Action Forum. So, Doug, the White House came out in a statement and said, really, this is due to historically severe winter weather. We certainly experienced that for sure.
Yes.
What is the impact that we would see on the economy?
Well, what we saw was, a near total stop in things like outdoor construction, a lot of business investment. So the number's very bad. There's no way around that. But inside, it's a little glimmer of good news. The household sector was pretty strong, grew at a 3% rate. The whole economy was growing at 3%. I think we'd all be very happy.
And there was something about Americans continuing to shop, that we did
American
okay.
shop, yes. They do that, particularly in March. They went on just a spending spree, as it turns out.
Interesting. A little good weather will get you out any day after that winter. An economist that was quoted in the Washington Post said this is not a weak economy. This is an economy that had 2 bad months because of weather and got back to normal in March. Would you agree with that?
Not entirely. This is an economy that's not growing fast enough, because the truth is something bad happens all the time. We get an earthquake and a big tidal wave in Fukushima. We get bad weather in the United States. There's always something going wrong. So you want to grow rapidly enough that when something bad happens, you still grow at 1.5, 2 instead of this dip near 0. And we're really just not growing fast enough.
This is the first reading. Do you expect it to look better after we get a couple more readings, or do you think this is really a wash for the first part of the year, but potentially better numbers to come?
I think it's going to go back to looking like 2.25% growth. This was supposed to be the year we jumped up to maybe 3. I just don't see it so far. There aren't enough jobs, there's not enough income, and so the spending spree can't go on forever, and the business spending's weak.
The White House does point to a positive part of the report, and this is how they put it. They said the report shows the positive impact of the implementation of the Affordable Care Act, which together with continued slowing in healthcare costs helps strengthen the economy.
I'm a little less enthusiastic about what they're talking about. Healthcare spending grew at 9.9% in the first quarter. Our problem for years has been healthcare spending that grew much faster than the economy, much faster than people's incomes, and as a result, everything became much too expensive. To go back to that doesn't seem like a good news story to me.
So you're saying that's still happening, that trend is still happening, and you would hope that with a new law that we would start to see a change in that?
Yeah, we'd like to see Medicare, Medicaid, the new law, all of it growing at something that looks like 2 and 3%, not 9, almost 10. We can't afford 9 or 10. We have to have healthcare grow like the rest of the economy.
And I know we've talked about it. Economists say they do expect the healthcare costs to continue to grow as the economy continues to recover. An interesting report came out of the House lawmakers. The Republicans came out and said, listen, from what we saw as far as data, only about 2/3 of the people who have signed up for healthcare have paid thus far. Jay Carney took a question on that today. I just want to play his thoughts on that.
We wait until we have all the information and we put it out, and every time almost every time it ends up being far better than what Republicans claim it will be. And if I'm wrong, when this data is compiled and all the issuers have been surveyed and we see a final figure, then we can talk about that. What I'm saying is it's not going to be 67%.
It's probably not a newsflash that the White House disagrees with the House Republicans' report, but this is 1/6 of our economy. Healthcare is in general. What is the potential impact of the new law on growth overall, and what does it mean if people pay and don't pay?
Well, let's remember that the whole point of the law was to get people to spend more on healthcare. We were already spending too much on healthcare. So we have to get a massive correction somewhere else to absorb the new law and still be able to afford our national healthcare bill. The fact that they're pointing to success, but that spending's growing more rapidly, makes me nervous.
When you say massive correction, what do you mean?
We have to see Medicare grow more slowly and still cover beneficiaries. You just can't cut them off. We have to see Medicaid grow more slowly and still cover low-income Americans. We have to see your and my health insurance bills go up less rapidly so our premiums aren't so high. We haven't seen that yet. Yeah, we've covered more people, but that's the easy part.
What would keep that from happening? Because it seems like, I'm sure our viewers realize this every day you go out, and everything seems a little bit more expensive every time you go shopping, and probably healthcare feels a little bit of the same. So why would it be different, or what would keep it from being different?
If, for example, we got better healthcare so that we didn't do so many tests and they were unnecessary, if you were doing a lot more well visits and you didn't have to go to the doctor, if when you showed up at the ER the technologies were cheaper, any of the things that would cost the price of a visit to go down, that would help. That's what we haven't seen. When we saw spending go down, it wasn't because things were cheaper. People just used less of it. Now the whole idea is use more because the economy's coming back and we're covering more people. We haven't got a victory yet. We need cheaper, high-quality care.
Interesting. Doug, great to see you as always. Always
Thanks.
nice to have you on set. John?